BS Show, Season 5, Episode 5. Sean Gankhurst back, Adam Tynan, Justin Chasmore. Boys, we're almost through September already, getting into October. Starting to get a feel for some of these teams here, but Adam, I'm looking at you. You're the one with the hot start off the bat here. 7-2 through 3 weeks in what's been damn near impossible to predict NFL start to the season, I think. You've been red hot. Boys, like I said, week 4 coming up. Maybe starting to get a feel for some of these teams. How we doing?
Yeah, I mean, my hot streak usually comes end of the season after we'll say a rough first half to the season. But now, yeah, happy where we're at. Took some money from Gank last week as well, and now the G-Men host the Chicago Bears.
Big week.
Yeah, massive week for you too. But yeah, just gotta give AT some love here. 7-2 is a big start for the boys, and it's usually, like you said, in the second half. So good to see, and hopefully this can continue. We're going to be pretty good by the end of the year. But huge week of football, like we said pre-show. It's a lot of close lines here. Games really could go either way. So it's going to be a tough week, but we'll try to weather the storm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we went through last week. I don't think there was a single spread more than a touchdown last week. And, we'll get into it. Other than the Patriots against the Packers, it's the same thing this week as well. A lot of tight matchups. And I'm starting to be very curious on what your record is from like week 14 of last season until now, because it's got to be something very good. But
is that when I went 9-0? Was that the end?
You went like 9-0 or 11-1 through like 4. We should definitely look that up because
shit, I gotta look that up.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Hell yeah,
there's probably some cash one there from Adam, but well, like I said, he's gonna last this week, Adam, but see you stay hot. But as always, we're going to go to Thursday night football to start with Gonzo. One of 2 undefeated teams left here. Miami Dolphins, 3.5-point underdogs, heading to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Over under 47.5. I think it's a strange line here where Vegas is kind of begging you to bet the Dolphins. So, Chaz, how does Gonzo feel?
Yeah, well, obviously, Gonzo started the year 0-1, so panic mode stepped in, but he won the last 2, so we got us back on track. And like you said, this is a very weird line. You would think the undefeated team here that some have number 1 in the power rankings this year. I don't know if you guys saw that. The Dolphins are getting 3.5 points. Obviously, I think a lot has to do with Tua's health, and if he plays full health, obviously. They also said their defense probably be a little tired because they played like over 100 plays against the Bills in like 100-degree heat. So there's some weird factors here, but Gonzo is taking the Dolphins plus 3.5. So
no.
I don't know if I love it, but I'm going to ride it with him. The Bengals, I mean, obviously I picked the Jets to cover last week against the Bengals for different reasons. Obviously Flacco didn't help me out on that one. The Bengals got their first win, but I still not fully bought in on the Bengals this year as a team. And the Dolphins, I mean, they do look good. They're on a short week. They did play a tough game against the Bills. Probably a spot that they can lose this game, but with the hook, I'll take the Dolphins to cover this. Bengals win, Dolphins cover. High scoring affair. Let's go 31-28 Bengals.
Ooh, that's a fun football game.
We need one fun primetime game because the last 2 have been fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
Giants always gave us a second half last night, at least a little bit.
Yeah, well, the Denver game the other night was
the Denver game was
a snooze fest.
Comes, I can't remember the last time I actually got put to sleep watching an NFL game, but I did during that one.
I passed out. Yeah, I passed out.
Yeah. With that said, where he gone to go? He went with the Dolphins, didn't he? Right. That's
plus 2.5.
I want to take that because it does look as easy as it is, but because nothing about this line is adding up, I'm going to take the Bengals to cover 3.5 at home here and maybe take some momentum from that win last week against the Jets. The Bengals defense has not really played anyone good. I mean, Joe Flacco, Cooper Rush, and Mitch Trubisky. Not the best quarterbacks he's seen. Maybe Tua plays, maybe not, but they're still playing pretty good football here. And, their defense can keep doing what they're doing. I do think this offense on Cincinnati is going to figure it out eventually and get clicking. Dolphins defense, I expected them to be pretty good this year. They did maintain the Bills, even though the Bills are on the field, like Chaz said, for what seemed like 100 plays right there. They still kept them in line, but we've also seen some holes for them. I mean, Baltimore did put up a ton of points against them, and I do think the door is open here for Cincinnati to really get this offense clicking. On the bank on them carrying momentum from last week's win, finally getting that monkey off their back, getting in the win column, and to keep riding it at home here. I'm with Chaz. I think we get a fun football game here. Give me the Bengals to win and cover 28-24 at home.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. And if it's a tough one, I usually just side with Gonzo. I do like the Bengals to win this one. I've been hating on the Fins for a while now, so no surprise there. But to me, it just kind of feels like that first loss for them comes in a short week in Cincy. Tough place to play. Joe Burrow has a big day because as good as the Dolphins have looked 3-0, their defense has not necessarily looked great. And it just strikes me as a 3-point game, maybe like a crazy cover at the end for the Fins just to steal everybody's money. But I do think they find a way to get a cover at the end. Bengals win. Dolphins cover. I'm going to go 27-24 Cincy.
Know what the Fins feel like here, especially with you, Adam, a team that not too high on coming into the year. Remind me a lot of this Arizona team last year that started 8-0, 9-0 that maybe you don't fully buy into. Maybe Miami can't do that, but once you get to the dog days of the season in December and come playoff time in January, is this team still going to hold up looking like they are? Or they possible one and done? Because figure a lot of people like in the Rams over the Cardinals in that division last year, or San Fran for that sake. And like I said, those teams called up. Maybe the Dolphins get a little early lead on Buffalo, but come December, they're going to keep this pace.
Yeah, I mean, and they did just beat the Bills, but I mean, that Bills defense was not what they would see in December, especially if it's in Buffalo. So
they need their safeties. They're going to miss Hyde.
Yeah, they are. As soon as I saw that, that is a massive loss.
Yeah.
Massive.
All right. We are back in London for game 2 of the week. Little Sunday morning action. New Orleans Saints 2.5-point underdogs against the Vikings. Over under 43.5. And look, I mean, it was kind of said last week. We watched 2 weeks ago primetime Kirk come out, and we saw primetime Kirk get his ass beat by the Eagles. And now we get the 1:00 home game against Detroit, and we know that the Lions and Kirk Cousins are probably going to score some points. A nice little come from behind victory when that one 28-24. And I think they're going to keep that rolling into London. This being in London may be a little too big of a stage for Kirk, but it's not prime time. It's morning, but it's a standalone game that everyone's going to be watching. So God knows how Kirk is going to perform in it. But the Saints have just they're a team I'm looking at as one of my bigger disappointments to start. I've always had the Bucs winning that division. I think we all had, but I was kind of expecting more from this Saints team, this offense or defense, just all around, and they just have not showed any of it. Carolina came out, finally was able to steal a win against them last week too. And like we've been saying too, I still buy that this Vikings offense can be explosive. I think Kirk Cousins can do enough here to figure it out. So I'm going to take the Vikes to go over the pond and get the win against the Saints here. I'll take them to win. I'll take them to cover that 2.5 as well, but 43.5 feels just a little too high here. I'm going to go 23-20 Vikings.
Yeah, gang, I mean, I'm on the same score, just flopped. I think the Saints find a way to win this one. Toss up. I don't know if this is a game I would like to bet just because you have two very inconsistent quarterbacks and a Saints team that, I mean, I looked at this and I thought in the Superdome, tough place for Kirk, but he's won a playoff game there. The guy, has played well in the past. That being said, I think last week's loss to the Panthers for the Saints was more of a, as Chazzy says, desperate team at home, making a play. And the Panthers defense might be for real. I don't think their offense is, but their defense has played well the past few years and continues to this year. That being said, Jameis finds a way to win this one against Kirk. Wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way, but I'm just going to go with my Saints because that's how I ride. We're going to go 23-20 Jameis.
Yeah, I'm with Gank on this one. I'm going to take the Vikings here. I'm big on the Vikings. I've said all year. a little scary last week against the Lions. They probably want to go find another kicker since their kicker missed 2 field goals last week and almost cost them the game. But I think ATU said this game not being in New Orleans is a huge blow for the Saints, and I think it helps Minnesota here, in a big way because a neutral field I think obviously is a lot easier, especially with a good defense in the Saints. But I think the Saints defense is good, and the Vikings defense I think is better than what they played last week, and I think that they're going to play a little bit better. And also, you have Michael Thomas who's banged up, and Jarvis Landry who's banged up. Kamara doesn't really look right either, so I just don't trust the Saints offense to be able to match what the Vikings can do. So I'll take the Vikings to win here. Kind of ugly, but I'll go 23-13.
Oh, yeah, I feel like a lot of those London games are like that.
Yeah. They aren't like
I feel like rain could always be in the forecast too. But come next week, Giants Packers there, so be making that pick. All right. Into the 1:00 games for Sunday, starting with the AFC South battle because that division is really turning into something this year. Tennessee traveling to Indy. Colts 3.5-point favorites at home. Over under 43. My Colts finally finding a way to get in the win column there. Big one at home against Kansas City, and I love them to bounce back, coming back home here against the Titans team too. The Titans team having a Chaz have a huge dislike for. Find a way to beat a Raiders team that has a lot of question marks maybe going on around now. We'll get to that once we get to that game, see how we feel about that team. But with that said, I'm not going to let that win by Tennessee really sell me. I'm going to keep riding with my Colts here. I've been saying, too, the past few years, the Colts have always started slow before they figure things out. That's a big, big, big win at home against a very good Kansas City Chiefs team to hopefully turn the corner here. And I think the Colts – maybe they get Shaquille Leonard back finally. I don't know. Waiting on that. He didn't play this week, right? I don't think I saw him.
No,
I think he was out.
That's a big game to miss if I did. But he's got to be back, and that's just a huge piece for a defense that has been pretty much holding their own. I think could be very good with him. So, like I said, I'm not that turn on the Titans because they won one game against a team that is winless this year at the time now. So give me the Colts at home. Keep this thing moving, get it going. I'll go Colts 26-17.
This game's kind of weird for me because the AFC South, I've said it a lot, I don't like to bet that freaking division. And I feel like these games, Titans, Colts have just been absurd the past few years. Here, the hook really scares me, so I'm going to go with my gut. My gut tells me the Colts win this game by 3. Wouldn't be shocked if they covered, but the Titans are that type of team that against an AFC South opponent, I think they show up and come ready to play. I don't think they're a very good team. I'm with you guys. I think they're going to miss the playoffs this year as well. But the Colts have not shown me enough that they will win by a touchdown here. I just think they're banged up. They're not really playing great right now. And yes, they beat the Chiefs and their defense played well, and credit to them. But that's a game that I'm not shocked that they won because they play up to their opponent. And if they're going to play down to the Titans, we'll let them hang around. Colts will win. Titans cover this, though. I'm going to go 24-21 Indy.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of these coming up to 3.5 games. So these are going to be some tough calls here. But I'm going to side with Gank in this one. I'm going to take the Colts, too. It is a little scary because they're coming off an emotional win. And usually when you do that, it sets up for a letdown. I said this pre-show, but that Colts game last week was probably the most scripted thing I've ever seen. But we will take it as Colts bettors. The Titans, I mean, they got to win at home against a Raiders team that isn't playing good football. They didn't run the football, the Raiders last week. They just didn't want to do it. They let Derek Carr throw it every play. And that's not going to be the case this week. I mean, it should be Jonathan Taylor all day. And obviously the Titans are going to try to do the same thing. So points should be kind of hard to come by, I would think, because it's going to be a lot of running. But I'll take the Colts to win and cover here just because I think they're a better team. And I mean, we've talked shit on the Titans all year. So I'm going to go 21-14 Colts.
All right. I like it. Just keep riding Indy, Adam. You'll hop on the train soon.
I just locked them last week. Get the hell out of here, gang. Hop on the train.
Yeah, they steal you a win against the Chiefs, and we're backing right off.
And then he hops off. Yep.
Yeah, well, they fucking tied the Texans, so.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
week 1. They're notorious slow starters. All right, Adam, here we go. Bears
Let's
coming
go.
to MetLife to play my Giants here. Giants 3.5-point favorites. Over under 39. Adam, I feel like we should let Chaz take this game first.
I like it. Yeah. Let Chaz go. Let Chaz go.
I was excited to get your two, reactions to this one first. I mean, what a doozy here. Over under 39. I mean, hey, I sent this tweet to you, but one of these teams at the end of this week are going to be 3-1. So that's kind of scary to think about. I mean, I'm going to take the Giants here, I think, even though they let me down last night. But I mean, the Bears, I just don't trust their offense, especially in New York. I mean, the Giants offense didn't look too great, but they also played Dallas last night. I just trust Saquon and the playmakers that the Giants have over the Bears. So I think it's going to be a disgusting game. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like in New York this Sunday, but
Might be rainy.
yeah,
I think it might be rainy.
that would fit. So a lot of Saquon, but I'm gonna go with the Giants here. Let's go 20-10.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Gank, Justin Fields made him look pretty smart because he played terrible last week. I mean, he threw a fourth quarter pick that he had two other guys wide open on and really should have cost them the game had they not had a deflected interception that led to the field goal to win it. I do think the Giants are going to win this game. I don't really think that that's much of the concern, but I'm going to go with the hook again. I mean, this feels to me like a 3-point game, if not like a 2 or 1 point game. I don't know if Graham Gano's healthy. That actually could impact the Giants a lot.
Is
that dude?
Last
that's
I
tough.
heard is he'll be like everything's good. Small cut on his ankle from the cleat.
Yeah. Right. The guy just like stepped on it. Yeah, he's fine. This is going to be ugly. That's for sure. And I think it is supposed to rain. One thing I would watch out for is just that the Bears have run the ball at an absurd rate this year with, I assume, pretty stacked boxes against them. And the Giants did not look great against the run last week. So if the Bears do that, I think they'll stay in it. And that's why I think it's going to be a 3-point game. But this is going to be a classic Giants Bears. I'm going to go 17-14 Giants.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, do you hit the thing on the head? That's my biggest worry going into this game, and that's the fact that, I mean, the Cowboys just ran the ball for about 200 yards against the Giants yesterday, and it was alarming, not to mention the week before that Christian McCaffrey had himself over 100 yards on the ground. But at the same time, too, when the Giants played a Tennessee team, knowing, hey, stop Derrick Henry, you'll probably be fine. They had no problem stopping them. So maybe focusing a game plan, knowing the Bears are to come in, run heavy, maybe they could get back to stopping the run. But the rush defense for the Giants has honestly been the biggest hole on this team the past 2 weeks. I mean, that's been definitely their biggest weakness. I mean, I believe Pollard was running at 8-9 yards a carry. Zeke was pushing 5-6 yards a carry yesterday, just huge holes. And the Bears have been running the ball well the past couple of weeks. So that part of the matchup scares me. But with that said, Adam, I actually have the same exact score as you do in this game. I do have the Giants winning with the Bears covering with that hook at 17-14. One thing that impressed me, Giants did lose yesterday. I was not mad about Daniel Jones' game at all. I love that Brian Daboll's finally teaching this guy how to use his legs. I mean, he made a couple huge third down scrambles to keep drives alive yesterday. And that's just something that Daniel Jones, we've always known he can do, but for some reason, the Giants wouldn't let him open up that part of the game. And, he seems like he's protected the ball a little bit better now. Against that defense yesterday, through that interception late, can't put that on him when the receiver falls like that, but did pretty well protecting the ball against a good defense yesterday. So hopefully he kind of build off that. Hopefully he realizes he actually played a pretty good game and some drops and fallen receivers hurt him. And, the Bears defense ain't the Cowboys defense. So I'm thinking the Giants come in, do enough at home here, but that hook scares me. Like I said, I'm with you, Adam. I got the Giants 17-14 in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Bear or the Giants rush defense is necessarily scheme. I just don't know if they have the guys to stop the run quite yet. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I guess they did stop Derrick Henry.
Leonard Williams coming back and getting in the lineup would be good. We did not have him yesterday, and that showed too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I agree. The Cowboys, that loss, I think later on in the year, Cowboys at home isn't going to be that bad because, wow, that Cowboys defense looks for real.
Yeah. It's a shame I put the Cowboys to rest after week 1 because that's a team I don't want to resurrect, but I'm going to fucking have to. I could already tell. All right, Chaz, right back to you. And for some reason, can't figure out why this one's at 1 o'clock, but it is. Your Ravens 3-point home dogs against the Bills who's coming off that loss to Miami. Over under 51.5 here. How are your Ravens doing?
Yeah, I've been going both sides here because obviously the Ravens fan bias out of the way. They were my Super Bowl pick before the year. And I think that's going to be why I'm going to take them plus a 3 here, and I'm going to take them to win. Well, I like them plus 3, so we might as well take them to win here. I think the Bills, obviously coming off a loss, I think they're going to get a heavy percent of the public bets here. But like we said, I mean, their 2 safeties were out last year or last week, and those are a big difference, especially when you play a good offense like the Ravens, who, I mean, we have Lamar Jackson playing at an MVP level, just like Josh Allen. And I mean, the Bills, a lot of people have said it, but their offense is becoming a lot of Josh Allen centric. And the more they do that, the more it hurts them. They need to be able to run the football and not just Josh Allen running the football. Marlon Humphrey, I'm assuming, is going to shadow Diggs. So I will say this: any Gabriel Davis owners or DFS, I would definitely fire him up. But I mean, I think if the Ravens want to, make a statement here and be for real in the AFC, I think this is a game that they just have to win at home. I think it's really what it comes down to it. If you can't beat the Bills, at home, I don't think you can do it in the playoffs on the road. So if you want that 1 seed, this is a game you got to win. I hope I'm wrong, or I hope I'm right, but let's go Ravens. I think it's going to be a shootout either way. Let's go 33-30 Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much of a feel for this line because of 3. I mean, a push obviously sounds like what I think will happen. But I mean, I love the over. My issue is I said it pre-show, I really think that all those injuries, and injuries aren't exactly an excuse, but when you lose half of your defense and all pro players, like, there's a reason your defense is not as good. And the Bills are banged up. Josh Allen, I don't know what was going on. The guy's brain was in a pretzel. He could not make a throw. I mean, the guy had multiple chances to win that game and did not. I don't know if that's just a one-time thing or whatever it was, but something was off. Diggs got hurt at the end of the game too. So I'm going to take the Ravens to cover. I'm not going to take them to win. I think this is going to be like a 1-point Buffalo wins on like a field goal late or something like that. Wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens did either way, but either way, I like the over. I just see Lamar's playing MVP level, banged up secondary in the Bills, and the Ravens haven't really covered many receivers this year for some reason. So without Humphrey, obviously Humphrey plays well, but everybody else is kind of struggling. So I'm going to take the Bills to win this one. Ravens to cover. Wouldn't be shocked if the Ravens found a way to win it. I'm going to go 28-27 Buffalo.
Yeah, that's we got the same score again, but I'm gonna flip the script on you. I'm gonna take Baltimore to actually.
Okay. Let's go.
And win the game at home here. And I mean, looking at this game right off the bat, I love the over, and I almost love it to the point where it actually scares me. It's like we've been saying with this Bills defense, guys like Micah Hyde, we're out for the season. That's a big loss. Is Poyer going to be back and everything? Lamar Jackson, like you said, Chaz, is every bit, if not, probably should be more of an MVP candidate than what Josh Allen is right now through the first 3 weeks of the season. I mean, I'm voting Lamar over Josh right now, this very second, if it came to it. So, I am expecting a shootout here, and the fact that this over-under, this game coming into it, I'm thinking, it's a number probably at 54, 55. To see it at 51 is actually a little alarmingly low for me, which scares me, but I'm still going to ride the fact that I do love the over in this one. And I think, as we've been saying, I think the injuries on Buffalo's defense is going to cost them this one. I like a fun back and forth game. And like I said, Adam, I'll flip the score on you. I'll go 28-27 Ravens.
Got the debut of Giant legend JPP too for the Ravens.
I forgot he went there.
Wow.
Go.
It really is ridiculous as a 1 o'clock game. Like,
Yeah.
that makes me so mad. This is going to be a great freaking game to watch, too.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to be on everyone's TV.
Yeah,
Yep.
like, fuck.
Yeah.
You guys have fun watching the Giants though.
Oof.
I might put the Giants Bears on a smaller TV and put that one on a big screen.
Probably smart.
I got my two TVs right next to each other, but
Yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
all right. Chargers, Texans, 5.5-point home dogs here. Over under 44.5. And well, we're a couple picks away from this team, but Chargers just got work to a Jaguars team that, once we get to them, I'm sure we're going to start saying how much we actually buy, or fluke thing was Justin Herbert playing that hurt. With that said, even if he was, Justin Herbert still made some throws that I've only seen Justin Herbert make. Like, he had some plays where he looked pretty fine, and the Chargers just still found a way to get work to that Jacksonville team. But I'm going to take that as a chance for them to bounce back against the Houston team here. The 5.5 seems like a big line here. That part does kind of scare me because Houston's defense really, really can play well and put some things together. And if Herbert's still playing a little hurt, that feels like a big number at home. So I'm actually going to take Houston to cover that at home, but I can't see a way how they beat this Charger team. I think they do bounce back, but Houston's defense will keep them in it. Maybe the Chargers finally pull something late to get the job done, win the game. I'll go Chargers 24-20.
Yeah, Gank, I had a similar thought, but I just kind of have a gut feeling that Herbert kind of has a day. Texans have played well this year. They've kept games close. Herbert obviously didn't look 100%, but Keenan should be back. Hopefully he stays healthy for my fantasy team. Who knows? Multiple fantasy teams I have. But I just kind of feel like the Chargers make this a little bit of a get-right game here. I could be off, but I think their defense just got embarrassed. They show up in Houston. They come ready to play. Khalil Mack might have a big day. Joey Bosa as well. And Herbert plays like Herbert normally does, and they get right here. I think it is close. I think it's a one-score game, but the Chargers will play well enough to win by a touchdown. And, the Texans just don't find a way to cover this one. I'm going to go 27-20 LA.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough one. I think I'm gonna take the Texans to cover though, because the Chargers are all sorts of banged up. It's not just Herbert. I'm pretty sure Bosa's hurt, and they just lost their offensive lineman Slater.
Yeah, he's out for the year, right?
Yeah, which is massive. And when you, like we said, against, like when we were talking about the Bills defense, like there's a reason why things look different when really good players are missing. The Chargers are going to look a little different when, your all-pro offensive lineman is out, your defensive stud and Bosa's out, and Herbert is still banged up. I'm not saying they're going to lose this game, but the Texans somehow keep games close. It's in Houston. It feels like a lot of people are going to be on the Chargers, not really thinking about the injuries. And they're going to add up. And I think the Texans 5.5 at home is just too many points. So I think the Chargers win this game, but Texans cover. I'm going to go 23-20 Chargers.
I feel like the Texans could be like the Lions last year. Might win 2 or 3 games, but cover about 30.
Cover. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's true, Gank. That's very true.
By the way. All right. Speaking of the Lions, they are 4.5-point favorites at home against the Seahawks here. Over under 50. And the Lions, they had a chance to get to 2-1. Actually, there was a point where I really thought they were going to hold on, win that game, and go to Minnesota and win last week. I just, typical line fashion, find a way to lose, but find a way to cover. And I guess that part of the line's still the same coming into this year. With that said, 4.5-point favor is probably the biggest points that they've been favored in I don't know how long, and I am going to take them to win and cover this number at home here. The Seahawks have really showed me nothing. I think they came out fired up week 1, playing their old quarterback in Russell Wilson. That was their Super Bowl. I think they put it all on the line that game, kind of got the win, and Now we're going to start seeing their true colors on who this Seahawk team really is. I don't buy anything about them. I think when it's all said and done on paper, they are the worst team in football. And like I said, I think the Lions, we've seen it enough. They can compete. Their offense has been great this year. They're going to score some points against Seattle. And I think this might be the biggest victory we've seen the Lions have in a long time in terms by how much they beat a team because I think they have no problem scoring 30 plus against the Seahawks here. So I'll go Lions 34-17.
Yeah, Gank, I'm completely with you. I like the Lions here. I think they've lost 2 games, right? They lost a heartbreaker last week in Minnesota, I believe, right? I mean, that's not a bad loss. I think to the end of the year, we're going to see the Vikings make the playoffs. That's not a bad game to lose. Obviously, heartbreaking fashion as usual. And they lost to Philly, which is possibly the best team in the NFC right now. So I'm not going to hop off the bandwagon. I do like them to win and cover here. I think they come out and Jamal Williams has a big day against Seattle's defense, which is terrible. And I mean, Seattle plays well at home because they have the 12th man and this and that, but they got smoked by the Niners in San Francisco, and I think they're going to get beat pretty badly by the Lions in Detroit. I'm not buying the Seahawks. I haven't been all year, and the Lions aren't a bad football team. They just can't find ways to win games against good teams. So it's not really a crazy thing. I'm going to take the Lions to win cover. I think they kind of cruise to a victory for the first time in God knows how long. I'm going to go 27-17 Detroit.
Yeah, I'm with you guys too. When I first saw this, I was like, wow, Lions are 4.5-point favorites, but now I looked who they were playing. And it's for good reason. The Lions, I will say this. I mean, they went out to a 10-point lead last week in Minnesota, like you said, AT, and they kind of played that fourth quarter trying not to lose rather than trying to go finish it and win. If they didn't do that, they would have won, and that would have been obviously a huge win for the Lions. I believe in their coach. I know DeAndre Swift hurts, but them being home against Seattle team, it's pretty bad. I think they're going to take care of business. I think my favorite play in this game is the under surprisingly, because Jeff Okudah is the real deal. His first couple of years he was hurt, but I mean he just shut down Justin Jefferson last week, and I forget who he went up against the first few weeks, but he's having a crazy good year. And the Seahawks, I mean, you take away DK, and if they're going to be down, I mean, it's going to be Geno trying to throw to Lockett the entire game. And so I think the Lions winning cover. Favorite plays the under. Let's go 24-13 Lions.
They're going to hold Devontae Smith to 0 catches week 1, who just went absolutely off this week, too.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, who did they beat week 2, though? Who the Lions win against?
Washington.
But
So I don't know what Terry did, but
Terry
He didn't have a great week.
Terry didn't
Yeah.
do much that
like
day.
like Okuda he's. I think Jefferson had 2 catches. 18 knows fucking played him last week in fantasy.
No, I think Terry had like 4 for like 50 or something against Detroit, I think, for the game, or nothing too big. I don't know. No. All right. Let's get to thriller here. Hey, at least the over-under is in the 40s. Jets heading to Pittsburgh. Steelers -3.5. Over-under 40.5. I feel like the past couple of weeks we've done Jet games. That over-under has just been low. But hey, so they have Giant games too. But the Jets finally brought back to life last week and spanked at home to the Bengals there. Failing to score a touchdown in the game at home too. Jets were in. Well, the Steelers, let's go to one of these guys when you notice they're missing. That defense needs TJ Watt because that team's built to rely on their defense to keep them in games. I feel like their defense is doing enough to keep them in games, but they can't make the plays or get over the top without him. And, it's just not enough for them to hold a full 60 minutes. So till he comes back, it's hard for me to pick them. I do think they're better than the Jets. I think they beat the Jets at home here, but that hooks is scare me. The Jets, we're going to think Zach Wilson's coming back. Still maybe Flacco. I mean, as of right now, it sounds like Zach Wilson. So I'm going to make this pick, assuming that he's online here on target to come back and start this game for the Jets. But I imagine he needs to be a little rusty too, first time playing, and what's probably been a few months for him. So give me the Steelers to win. Give me the Jets to cover. maybe Zach Wilson can get this offense going. I mean, Joe Flacco's top 5 in the NFL in passing yards with it. So hopefully Zach can keep that part going and maybe add another dimension to it. I just don't know if it's enough going to Pittsburgh and playing this defense to really figure it out as a first game back, even if he is. I'll take the Steelers here, 19-16.
I love the Steelers here. Yes, they've played bad. They just lost in Cleveland, which they haven't really had much success in, I feel like, recently. But I think they're going to get right. The Steelers are the Steelers. Their defense is going to show up at home. They find a way to win. Even when they lost to the Pats at home, right? That was Mitch's fault. That wasn't the defense's fault. And I think they just have a big defensive day. Whether it's Zach Wilson or not, is he confirmed to be back? Ganked?
He's in line, but nothing's set in stone yet.
Yeah, I mean, either way for me, this feels like a game the Steelers really come out and play well. And it's a hard place to play in Pittsburgh. They need a win. Mike Tomlin kind of finds a way to win these games when they need it the most. And I like him to win here. I think the Jets offense struggles. Steelers offense doesn't look great, but it just kind of gets the job done like it has in the past. And I'm going to go 24-13 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm on the Steelers here too. And AT, I'm surprised you used my line, but desperate team at home, Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, I think the biggest thing other than that is if Zach Wilson plays. I think, like Gang said, I imagine the offense is going to be a little out of sync because they haven't played with them. I mean, they played 2 drives with them in the preseason and they got hurt. So like they haven't even really had time in the preseason to play with them. So I think if you swap him out, I mean, even if it's a bad first half, that might be more than enough with the Steelers defense playing at home here. So yeah, give me the Steelers to win and cover here. I think Tomlin will get them right. I think they get a win. Yeah, let's go Steelers 24-14.
Pittsburgh. All right. Here's one more intriguing ones of the week. Jacksonville. Back-to-back wins here, 2-1. Philly, your other undefeated team here, 3-0. This game's in the link. Eagles, 6.5-point favorites, over under 48.5. Jazz, you're the one that's all out there saying Philly radio, saying they're the best team in the AFC. And, well, their first test against the AFC is at home against a beatable team, but a surprise here. So how do we think Philly comes out on this one?
Yeah, I almost spit out my drink when I heard that line. Philly radio literally said that the Jags might be the best team in the AFC. Like, I get they beat the Chargers, but like, let's relax here. I mean, the Eagles, we were high on them before the year. They look as good as advertised. Their defense, we didn't overact after week 1, and they've played incredibly good football the last 2 weeks. I mean, Carson Wentz, I'm pretty sure last week at one point, the Eagles had 350 passing yards and the Commanders had -1. So like, that was a pretty absurd picture when I saw that. But Eagles defense is playing really well. Obviously, they got a ton of momentum. But this is an interesting game, obviously, because you look on the other side, you got Doug Peterson coming back in, right? And I think Doug Peterson is going to have this team ready to play. I was higher on the Jags, I feel like, than most this year. I think they're going to actually go into Philly and cover this line. I think the Eagles will win, but the Jags just kind of feel like they're getting momentum. And I think the biggest thing you see, and AT sees it for his fantasy team, is that Trevor Lawrence is getting confidence. And when you give that kid confidence, I mean, he didn't lose much in his career leading up until he was a Jaguar. You give him some confidence, you got him some playmakers. J-Rob is playing out of his mind too. I think that offense can keep up. And the Eagles here, I feel like a lot of people are going to back them on 6.5 against the Jags at home. But so give me the Jags to cover this line. I would not be shocked, honestly, if they do pull it out, but I'm going to take the Birds to win it. I'll go Philly 27-24.
Yeah, I mean, these may be 2 teams I was wrong on. I don't think I was hating on the Jags as much, but I didn't even have the Eagles in the playoffs, and that's not looking like a very good call there.
Making me and Gank look like Jesus.
Yeah, no, not making me look good. I do think the Jags are going to cover this game. I don't think they're going to win. I think this is going to be one of those that Lawrence looks good. Doug Peterson's just kind of got, a little bit revenge game here. He wants to play well. He'll scheme it up a little bit. But the Eagles D-line and front seven is dangerous. I didn't expect their defense to be as good. Jalen Hurts has played really well. You got to give credit where credit is due. I don't know if he's necessarily been tested against a great defense yet. Lions, Vikings, and the Commanders, and now the Jags. I think he'll still look good. I like some points in this matchup, but I do think the Jags are going to cover. I was buying Trevor Lawrence going into the year. Hopefully keeps up the play. Probably my keeper next year. We'll see. But I just think that they find a way to cover this. Eagles have not played well in the second half in many games. They've kind of let teams hang around the first two. So I'm going to take the Jags to cover. Eagles win. I'll go 27-24 Philly.
Yeah, I mean, well, first things first, if Lawrence wants to keep this rate up, you're keeping that quarterback in the 5th round next year. So we'll get that one off the bat.
Hope so.
We keep him there in the 5th round too.
So.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. I like the Jags to cover this game. I don't know if they go to Philly and win it. Jazz, what are they saying? Is Peterson going to get booed at home there, or should they get welcome back?
I don't know. I mean, they even asked Peterson like yesterday. They're like, "Do you think you're going to get booed or cheered?" And he's like, "Well, I did bring a championship to that city," but he also was like, "I mean, even when I was a coach there, when we played one bad half of football, they booed me." So he's like, "I don't really care either way." But I would imagine they would give him a big round of applause. I mean, he did bring them a championship. So
I think he's liked by them.
I think he is too.
Yeah.
Super Bowl the team has.
Yeah.
Maybe a little something. Yeah. But no, that's said about this game. Yeah, like, I mean, 6.5 is a big number for this game. I do like the Jags to stay in and cover that. And, biggest thing that I'm most impressed about this Jags is I'm starting to buy the fact that their defense is very legitimate. And, everybody was talking about, especially in terms of fantasy, talking about their offense, Trevor Lawrence, getting all these pieces. Can they click? Can they work? And obviously that has been. I think it's the defense that's not getting enough credit right now. They brought in some pieces on that. Josh Allen, first-round pick a couple years back, in the linebacker spot has been solid. And, use your first-round pick on the linebacker again, pass rusher this year. And it's all gelling coming into form for Jacksonville there defensively. So one thing, I think both of you guys might have had it where you guys like the over. I'm actually leaning the under in this because the Eagles defense, as Chaz said too, we didn't panic week 1. They're starting to look very good. I think this Jags defense is better than what they're getting credit for. And, it's just two teams that, are starting to look very good coming into form. I do think the Eagles are a step ahead of the Jaguars in terms of talent and, just more maturity as a team together. But the Jags are starting to come there. So I'll take the Eagles and figure it out at home. But I actually like the under and the Jags to stay in the 6.5 here. I'll go 24-21 Birds.
Maybe it might be the fantasy owner in me that wants the high points. I mean, dude, you got to give credit. The Jags seem like they made some big moves. Like Christian Kirk, that was a hated on move, but that dude can play.
Dude, yeah.
like
they got playmakers.
I thought they overpaid for him too, but when you combine who they have, like Marvin Jones, they got some dudes.
Evan Ingram making some plays for him.
Giant, great. You knew that was happening, though. You knew that. Happening.
He might make the Pro Bowl. That.
I mean, he made it with like 30 catches one year. So.
I know. I remember that.
It's funny. I mean, I think he actually finally had a slower week this week, but through 2 weeks, Christian Kirk was the only guy Trevor Lawrence targeted more than Evan Ingram, I think, until that came this week. But, yeah. All right, Chaz, your Falcons 1.5-point underdogs at home here to Cleveland, over under 49.5. If I'm not mistaken, these Falcons are 3-0 against the spread this year. They keeping that up there, Chaz?
They are 3-0 against the spread, and I tried to fade them, and it did not work.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's right.
Yeah. So I am 2-1 on Falcon games this year. This game is tough. I'm gonna ride with them here at home. Honestly, this is just more of a gut thing. I don't think the Browns won last week against the Steelers in a pretty ugly fashion. It's going to be a lot of Nick Chubb. That's their go-to. It's how they're going to win games here. But the Falcons, I mean, Mariota has played pretty decent. They've been able to run the football. Cordell Patterson It looked like they got Kyle Pitts going finally last week, and Drake London looks like a good ass pick by the Falcons. He's a pretty good player. So I mean, if the Falcons defense can play a little bit of defense here at home, I think they can win this game against a Browns team that, I mean, obviously Jacoby Brissett is still under center. So in a pick 'em, I'll take the home team here. Hopefully I can continue my streak. If I lose this one, I might be completely falling off the Falcons for the season, but let's go Falcons. Win it 30-28.
Wow. 30-28. I do also like the over in this game, but that's again probably because I've Cordell Patterson in like 3 leagues. So we'll just get that out of the way. That being said, I'm with you, Chaz. I see it as a toss-up. I'm not really a big Browns lover this year. I think that they beat a home divisional team that they knew, and Mitch Trubisky looked like Mitch Trubisky, and no surprise. And I like what the Falcons are doing. I like their coach. I've said it for a while, and I just feel like they kind of know their identity, and they're not going to win 12 games this year, but this seems like a game they win, coming off a big win in Seattle as well. So I'm going to take them in a toss-up to win this one. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the most confident in it because it's the Falcons and they find a way to lose games, but at home, I think that they win and they cover the over here. I'm going to go 28-24 Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing with Atlanta. I don't think Marcus Mariota is kind of getting enough credit. Like Jazz, you said he did miss out though against Pitts and stuff like that, but he's playing very well for his team at quarterback. And
He is.
I hate to say this because I try not to buy too much into preseason, but I do watch it and try to learn a thing or two. And one thing I learned is like when I was watching him play, Falcons made him look every bit of the dual threat quarterback that maybe he can be and surprise a little. And he's kind of living up to that and doing that for Atlanta. And I think that part's overlooked. But with all that said, they go against you boys. I'm going to take the Browns to get the job done here on the road. I do think
Fading Chazzy and the Falcons.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do think the Falcons are better than what any of us anticipated them to be coming into the season. And like you said, Chaz, Drake London is looking like potential offensive rookie of the year with that team and offense and everything. But the Browns, this just feels like a game right here where I'm not going to 100% jump in on the Falcons. And this seems like a game where the Browns could do what the Browns have done best the past few years, and that's just run the football and play defense. So even while you guys are high on the over again, I actually like the under in this game. I do think there'll be some points, but over 7 touchdowns feels like a massive number for an over-under, especially when the Browns are one of the teams on the field. I just can't find myself taking the over that high, but I'm going to take the Browns to go on the road, get the job done here, 24-20. Crudell can still score for you in that 20, Adam. Don't worry.
I mean, they keep feeding him. They give him like 25 carries week 3 and week 1.
Somebody who has Tyler Algier stash on his bench. I'm just waiting for
I don't know.
That's me.
Happen. But I mean, the way Patterson's going, they're making it not possible, really.
Yeah, he
doesn't catch it like that. He gets carries.
Yeah.
So I think Algier will take his catches.
Last year, but when you're getting 17 carries for 100 yards a game,
yeah, I mean,
keep running it. All right. NFC East battle here. Washington heading to Dallas. Dallas 3.5-point favorites at home. Over under 42.5. A lot of talk on the pre-show. I think it's even gotten balled up earlier in the show, especially when we're talking about the Giants game. But seems like a lot of people, all 3 of us here, are pretty much all in on this Cowboys defense, how good they are, how great that front 7 could be. Micah Parsons is an absolute fucking beast. And the one thing that I keep reminding myself about is, the Giants traded down so the Bears could get Justin Fields, the Giants could get Kadarius Toney, and the Cowboys could get Micah Parsons right after all of it. But
there it is. Good GM.
All around by both our teams.
Yeah.
But with that said, I mean, I'm going to keep riding the Cowboys defense here to get the job done. 3.5 scares me this hook divisional game. But Washington, Carson Wentz kind of returning it to form against a good defense in Philly. That's kind of what we expected to probably see from him. And I think Dallas's defense might be better than Philly's. And I think that's actually saying a lot because I love Philly's defense, what they're doing. Dallas is maybe better. Dallas has also won 7 straight games against the NFC East, I believe I saw today after that win last night too. So I think they keep rolling here. Cooper Rush has did a more than fine job filling in for Dak Prescott too, the 2 games he has so far. Give me Dallas at home. Defense takes care of business. Cooper Rush keeps doing what he's doing, and that's enough to win these games. Cowboys 24-17.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat that Dak Prescott is like 9-0 against the Cowboys. His last like
Giants.
9-1. Sorry, the Giants. Yeah, the Giants. And I mean, it makes sense because the Cowboys always win the NFC East because they go 7-1 and they can't win the playoffs. I didn't like what I saw out of Carson Wentz in their offensive line last week, and I think they're facing, like Gank said, if not as good, a better front seven. And I watched Micah Parsons run over a left tackle and a running back last night to sack. So I'm going to take the Cowboys. They're playing better. Dan Quinn's doing an incredible job with that defense. And they just are playing really well. And they know they have to buckle down with Cooper Rush. And credit to Cooper Rush. The guy's making plays. The hook scares me a lot. But I think Cowboys defense comes out and dominates it like last week the Commanders had with the Eagles. And I think they struggle to score. And I'm going to go 20-13 Dallas.
Yeah. I think I could be mistaken, but remember Dak and Zeke's rookie year? I think Dallas went 13-3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was like that. The Giants were 2 of their 3 losses that year, and that might have been the last time the Giants beat Dallas.
Dude, I think I saw that Dak is 9-0 in the last 4 seasons or something like that. So
I'm pretty sure the Giants beat him twice his rookie year and haven't beaten. And I don't think they've beaten Dallas in general since. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty absurd. This is pretty scary, but I'm going to take Dallas here. It's a 3.5 too. I mean, I watched part of that Philly game last week. I'm pretty sure Wentz got sacked like 8 times. So when you put that up against this Dallas front, I mean, they could probably do the same exact thing. And I mean, the Commanders and Carson Wentz, the thing that Carson Wentz has been notorious for his whole career, even in Philly, is holding the football too long. And the defense like Dallas, you can't do that. It's going to be a long day. So I'll trust that. The Commanders you can also run on. So I think this probably is the Zeke big game that fantasy owners have been waiting for. But I'll take Dallas to win and cover. I think it's pretty ugly, but I'll take the boys 23-10.
I could use that Zeke big game, but I'll tell you what, starting to take the right steps. I was very happy with 75 in the score yesterday from him too.
Yeah, they look good. So did Pollard.
yeah, they both did.
Yeah.
Bro, Pollard is so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can move. He can move.
It's crazy.
All right. The 4:00 swing here. Adam, your Cardinals underdogs headed on the road to Carolina. Arizona getting 2 here, over under 42.5. How do you feel about this one? You fading?
I mean,
getting points against what is the lesser team on paper.
yeah, I hate both of these teams. I think both their coaches are going to get fired at the end of the year. God, I'm going to go with the Cardinals because I think last week was a reflection of how Sean McVay just owns the Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury, like I say every year when they play each other twice. I think the Cardinals are just a better team. I'm not buying the Panthers. Yeah, they looked good last week against the Saints, home divisional game, though. I mean, it's not that surprising. And the Cardinals with the 2 points, I'll take them. I don't want to bet this game because I just hate both teams that much. But I think in a close one in the toss-up, the Cardinals with 2 points find a way to win and cover this game. I'm going to go 20-17 Arizona.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, but I'm going to have a little more scoring than that in this one. When it's all said and done, I just think Arizona's better. I'll say it every week. I really expected more from the Panthers. I thought as the season would go on, maybe Baker and this offense would start clicking a little better. I have still yet to see that. I do think Arizona's defense has some holes at home here. There is a chance that maybe they can get it going and, still even save the season, get back to 2-2 here if you're Carolina. But I think Kyler's just going to be too much for this whole Carolina team in general. And I'm not even a big Kyler guy, but I mean, he'll be the most important player on the field. I think he'll do the most work for either of these two teams and get it done on the road. So yeah, I like the Cardinals to win this one outright. I'll see it a little higher scoring. I'll have it going over the 42.5. I'll go Arizona 26-23.
Yeah, I'm with you guys too. I like the Cardinals kind of a scary amount this week. I'm gonna take them obviously to win. I picked the Panthers last week +3, but I'm definitely fading them this week. I don't think they beat the Cardinals here. Obviously, they're home, and the Cardinals' only win is against the only winless team in football. But I think they get it done here on the road. Like you said, gang, best player on the field is gonna be Kyler, and I think that's gonna be the difference. So give me the Cards to win. I like points too. I'll go 31-20 Cardinals.
Points. Let's give McCaffrey some more receptions this year. How about that, though? maybe your offense will look a little better if we start throwing him the ball like he used to back in the day.
Matt Rule is a defensive coach, or do you guys know?
I don't
Offensive.
know. I was scrolling my Twitter yesterday, though, and I retweeted one tweet where the day after the Giants signed Kenny Galladay, I said how Giant fans, like, you're all going to turn on me, but this was the worst signing the Giants have ever made, like, before he's ever stepped foot. So I retweeted that just to bring that up, and then I was scrolling more. My other one was saying how Giant fans also be glad he didn't sign Matt Rule as their head coach because you're going to want nothing to do with this guy.
Yeah.
So I was 2 for 2 on that part, but everything else the Giants bought into didn't work out either. So we just
Yank finds the 2 tweets that are just like incredible for himself and
I can't remember though, because Matt, like, I feel like Matt Rule, I don't know what he was like.
Temple's coach, wasn't it? Or Baylor.
Good defensively for the Big 12 for where they were in, but I mean, it's a whole different thing in college. If you recruit well, then you're gonna be okay. Especially
it's different.
But considering Bauer's defense did go from what they were to where they are now, and he was kind of the bridge to do that. I'm gonna guess maybe he was a defensive guy, but I don't know for sure. Either way, throw McCaffrey the ball. Your offense was always better when he did that. It's not hard to figure out.
Yeah.
True.
All right. Pretty big AFC West game here. Denver, 2.5-point dogs heading to Vegas. Over under 45.5. And the Raiders right now are up there as one of the bigger disappointments in the NFL at 0-3. We know that division was, going to be something to watch this year as the season progresses. I still think it's going to be. And Denver's got their own question marks, especially with their new $150 man and Russell Wilson. So this game, there's a lot going on in this game, which makes it tough to pick here. I do think both of these teams, as the season goes on, will get better and will be more than fine. And I do think Russell Wilson is going to have his breakout game with Denver here. I mean, the Raiders' pass defense has been very porous to start the season, to say the least. I mean, they are very beatable through the air. However, I still think this Vegas team is plenty fine, plenty good. They keep finding ways to lose or just not finish at the end of the game, lead a drive when they need it most. This is a game at home they bounce back on, though, and I think they get the job done. Over under 45.5. I love the over here. I'm going to be loving overs in these AFC West battles all year long. I think Derek Carr has his biggest game of the season so far, and I think Russell Wilson has his biggest game of the season so far, but the Raiders are just going to figure it out at home. Maybe for once they don't do something stupid at the end of the game to find a way to blow it. Give me the Raiders to win. I'll take them to cover the 2.5 because I'll have it by a field goal late, 31-28.
Yeah, Gank, we're definitely not betting this game because I am right there with you. I mean, I think I like the over and I like the Raiders. Denver finally, yes, they lost week 1, but this week offensively they may figure it out because the Raiders defense is just that bad. But they just need the win. The Raiders need the win. It's a divisional game at home. Offensively, they're just not completely clicking yet, but I think that will come with a few weeks in the system. And maybe even might take till next year. But I see Daniel Carlson, fantasy legend, kicking a field goal to win this game. That's what I see happening. I agree Russ will play well. and I think Denver's offense does show some life. But I like Vegas at home to win this one and get their first win of the year. I'm going to go 27-24 Raiders.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Drum roll, please. But Raiders, desperate team at home, 0-3. And I mean, after what I watched last week with the Broncos, there's zero shot I'm picking them to win any other game. I think they are incredibly lucky to escape the Niners with a win, and they're incredibly lucky to be sitting where they are right now. I mean, that offense has just been playing so bad. Their defense has looked good, but their offense is it's painful to watch. And now they're going to Vegas. If there is a team to get it right, it's probably this one, but I'm not betting on it. I'd rather take the desperate team at home in the Raiders, who have shown the ability to score points. So I'll go Raiders here to win and cover 27-17.
Big win for the Raiders.
Yeah,
but when you can't score points, it's tough to win games. Denver. You're not winning many other games with 11 points. Let me tell you that.
Dude, 11-10 is just ridiculous.
Just so dumb.
I mean, it took the safety and the fumble just for them to win that game.
Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo took a safety and threw a pick six on the same play.
Incredible. All time. An all-time move.
Oh, man. Figure it out. Just give me a shootout there. I do want Russ to figure it out. Like, Judy's important to me in fantasy football this year. And, well, Russ ain't going to figure it out. What good is he?
Yeah.
I don't think
they just look so bad on the offense.
Yeah.
They run the ball. They run the ball twice at the middle, get stuffed both times, and then Russ throws it 2 yards, and then they punt. It's like old school Joe Flacco.
I'm kind of hoping that last drive from Russ where you let him move a little or run a little. You see what could happen. I'm hoping they bring that out. And like we said, it's the defense to do that against. I mean, the Raiders' pass defense hasn't been far from great this year. But all right, let's head to Lambeau Field. Packers 10-point favorites against the Patriots. Patriots likely looking at Brian Hoyer in the pocket here with Mac Jones out, high ankle sprain. Believe over under 40.5. And listen, I've been bashing the Patriots offense pretty much since day one this season going into it. They have yet to look pretty to me. And now you got a Packer team that's starting to look like a Packer regular season team that we are kind of used to seeing. Slow start. Offense slowly starting to get it together here. I mean, 14 points on an ideal second half last week, but I do think Tampa Bay's defense is, one of the best in football. Todd Bowles has that defense rolling, so I'm not going to bash the Packers too much for a bad offensive second half, but guys like Allen Lazard comes back, touchdowns in his first 2 games back. Rookie receiver Romeo Doubs, big game against that Tampa Bay defense. Maybe he's another guy Rodgers can find faith with. And as always, I mean, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are as reliable as they are back there. So I think Green Bay takes care of business here. I still love Green Bay's defense too. I think that part of their team's still incredibly underrated. And there's just not a single part of this game on paper where I think the Patriots match up well, let alone Brian Hoyer having to start. So give me the Packers at Lambeau here with ease. I'll take them 24-10.
Yeah. I mean, this feels like a really big, just big win at home for the Packers. I mean, Rodgers at home is almost impossible to beat. And Brian Hoyer, and a Patriots team that just isn't clicking right now. Packers seem to be going the exact opposite direction. I'm assuming that they won't score too much because Bill Belichick's defense, at least his secondary, is always pretty good. So they might struggle or they might do well against the not as great receivers, the Packers. But I think either way, the Patriots offense just does not score. They may score in single digits here. Gank, I'm pretty similar to where you're at, but I like the Packers here to come out, struggle a little bit in the first half, but take care of business in the second half, and Rodgers goes off for a couple of touchdowns. I'm going to go 27-10 Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, let me keep this short. I'm with you guys. I mean, I'm not taking Brian Hoyer to go cover 10 points in Lambeau. Let's go 28-13 Packers.
13. Well, credit for the Pats. All right.
Credit.
All right, Sunday Night Football here, boys. Should be a pretty damn good one. Brady versus Mahomes. Buccaneers 1.5-point underdogs at home here, over under 45.5. And I mean, we saw a Chiefs team against the Colts last week. Chiefs red hot start against Arizona, got the job done against the Chargers. Finally lose a game to the Colts, and those defenses maybe even getting tougher. We're seeing a little more problems from the Chiefs offense and everything. And well, Tampa Bay is the best defense they're going to see so far too. Like I mentioned before, just now, talking about the Packers, Todd Bowles and that Tampa Bay defense is one of the few I don't want to see. Got them up there with the Dallases in the league and how good they are. And I think they're cause a lot of problems for Mahomes. We've seen it in the past in the Super Bowl and everything. And I kind of see it happening again here. I think the Buccaneers are going to bounce back at home here. Getting Mike Evans back is huge. I think he's about to have a field day here against a Chiefs team that can't throw the ball against. And I just think the Bucs match up very well against Kansas City. So I'm getting 1.5 at home, prime time and everything. You guys want a good night game? We should finally fucking get one here. Give me the Bucs. Take care of business at home here. I'll go Tampa Bay 24-21.
Yeah, Gankman, I'm with you. Had the Bucs won last week, maybe I would take them to lose this one. But Tom Brady off a loss. I just think they match up well against the Chiefs. I think Fournette's going to have a huge day because the Chiefs, they played pretty well against Taylor, but it's just, there's a formula to beat the Chiefs, and it's get pressure on Mahomes, which the Bucs will do, and run the ball. And I think the Bucs do that as well. I think Brady will still struggle, not look great. Seeing him scream at everybody is pretty funny. But I mean, he's livid on the sideline. But I just, this feels like a game the Bucs win at home. And the Chiefs offense struggles a little bit because Todd Bowles can scheme it up a bit against Andy Reid. And no Tyreek Hill, they may struggle now. Low scoring affair, but I think the Bucs find a way to win at home. I'm going to go 20-17 Tampa.
Yeah, I'm fully aboard the Bucs here this week. I think this is a week that their offense finally gets right against a not so great defense in the Chiefs, especially at home off a loss. Remains to be seen though if this game is actually going to be played in Tampa Bay because the hurricane is about to destroy Tampa Bay. I think they might play in Miami if it's really that bad, but I think it's going to be a fun game either way. The Bucs offense has not looked, the first 3 weeks, but they've also played 3 really good defenses. Coming off a loss, like I said, I think this is a great spot for them. And I mean, the Chiefs, like Gank said, playing better defenses. They're kind of getting exposed a little bit. I think Devin White can cover Travis Kelce probably, better than most linebackers can. So if you take him out for the most part, it's gonna be I think a long day for the Chiefs against this defense. Probably the best one they're going to see all year. So give me the Bucs here at home. Definitely like the points here. I'll go 31-23 Bucs.
Bucs offense gets back on track, huh?
I mean, if you can't do it at home against Chiefs,
they got it against this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not this week, it might not happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, maybe they don't have Godwin back yet, but
yeah, Evans comes back. That's true.
Evans is huge.
Evans back.
Yeah, Evans is. Yeah.
Russell Gage looked very good in his spot. Maybe you get Julio even a little more healthy and everything. So.
Then you give Cole Beasley another week. I mean, he honestly looked pretty good for being there for like 3 days.
He made a few big catches. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you give him another week for the playbook, he'll definitely see the field again because Brady loves his underneath throws. So.
You kind of knew Cole Beasley and Tom Brady was just going to find a way to work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a block. Yeah, no surprise at all.
That was happening. All right. Monday night, boys. NFC West battle here. Rams, 2.5-point road dogs heading to San Francisco, over under 42.5. Just talked about San Francisco and that 11-10 thriller that they lost to Denver Monday Night Football. Now we get them back in Monday night here in a game that I think should be a little better than that, based on the fact that we actually got a divisional matchup here. I think says something more that it really should be better. However, when I look at this game as a whole on paper and everything, these are 2 teams that I don't really have much of a read on yet these first 3 weeks into the season. I've expected a little more from the Rams. the whole Matt Stafford injury thing was something I was never worried about. We kind of heard about that last year. He went out, no problem, won the Super Bowl, but I'm starting to think it may be a concern. And well, this Niners team, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, everything that's going on, I just can't figure it out. I mean, they play good defensive football, the Niners. We knew they would do that about them, but their offense is as bland as it gets up there with Denver so far to start the season. So it's hard for me to pick this one. I feel like the Niners have given the Rams some problems in the past, but my gut's telling me right now the Rams are playing a little bit better football, so I'll take them to go on the road and win this game outright. I just don't love it. It's tough to stay away from her as a gambler, being a standalone Monday night game. But if I got to take a pick I love, I'll go under, but I'll take the Rams to find a way to go on the road and win this game 20-17.
This may be a first, gang, but you're taking the Rams and I am not.
Wow. That
You
has
don't
to be
see
the
this
first.
much.
Has
You
to be
do
the
not
first.
see this much. This is a game the Rams lose. They don't play the Niners very well. You're right, gang, because the Niners match up well against them. And Shanahan just kind of finds a way to dial it up. And I think they're going to do it this time. Jimmy G looked terrible first game back. You know, I think the Broncos defense is legit. I don't think that's that big of a deal. And they honestly could have won the game, but they're coming home. Jimmy G's first game starting at home. He came in for Trey Lance, obviously, and they won 27-7. Another home divisional game. I think they find a way to win this one because they need it. I don't know if it's pretty. I don't know if Jimmy G looks great, but I think he game manages well enough. And the Rams have a few turnovers that cost him. Maybe Stafford throws a few picks. I'm going to go San Fran here. And unfortunately, I think that the Rams offense struggles here. I'm going to go 20-16 San Fran.
Yeah, I'm with Adam here. I'm going to take the Niners to win this game. They owe the Rams a little payback from the NFC Championship last year, and I think they just match up better. And when you look at this game, I mean, it's probably going to be running the football and defense, and the Rams' run game I still don't trust. I know Akers played a little better last week, but I mean, the Niners at home, they're going to get Jeff Wilson going, Debo, and I think they're just their defense obviously is what kept them in the game last week, and I think they're going to, play well again here against the Rams, who, I mean, we know Stafford likes to throw interceptions, so we'll probably have, one or two of those that could be the difference in this game. So I trust Jimmy G to keep the ball, safer rather than Stafford, and I trust the Niners defense and the run game more in the Rams. So, add all that up, I think it's a pretty easy pick. Let's go Niners, 21-17.
I'm going against his Rams.
That's pretty bold.
I don't like it, but
I
I
like
just, yeah. What'd you say?
So you don't like the bet there? Save it to Monday night.
I'd rather not, but I feel like there was one that stuck out to me that was it early?
We're different on the Jets and Steelers. I'm not bad at the Jets. I'll say
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fair. Hey, did the Colts line change already? Wasn't it 3.5?
Some of them already did.
Yeah. Titans Colts. It's now 3.5.
No,
Is that
Titans Colts is 3 now.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I think it was 3.5 though.
mine for the locks. Or you get the Colts at -3 now. It was at 3.5.
Why don't we do all right?
Cardinals changed too.
The Falcons Browns was
I was gonna say we do that instead. I don't really want to bet against the Rams like that, although I do not think they're going to cover. What scares me is the 2.5 point cover. That's what scares me.
yeah.
All right, actually, I won last week, so you pick of the two. That's fair.
I'll take the Browns -1.5.
Nice. Nice. Chazzy, let's ride.
Still, baby.
I did think the Niners very much can win, but
Yeah.
I got a slight edge for the Rams there. All right, let's get to our locks. Chaz, 5-4 on the year, and you will lead us off.
Yeah, let's get another winning week here. I'm gonna go lead us off with my desperate team at home with the Raiders -2.5 over Denver. Second, I like it a scary amount, so it could come back to haunt me, but I'm gonna take the Cardinals +1.5. And then my third one, take the GOAT at home, Sunday Night Football. Tom Brady, Bucks +1 now.
God, there are two of mine, Jazz. God damn it.
AT, when you pick third, you can't
No, I
imagine
know.
too many.
No, I know. I just know that like I'm gonna just have nothing left. Go ahead, Gank. Go. Take them.
I don't know, Adam. I might save you a lot here, to be honest.
Yeah, no, we don't always take each other.
I got to double check these lines before I throw them in, 'cause these lines are changing left and right on us in this. But all right. To be honest, I'm only gonna do one against the spread, and then I'm gonna do two totals here. I'll do my against the spread one first. I'll take Detroit -4.5 at home against Seattle. Like I said, I got them confidently going in there, beating the shit out of them. I do think Seattle's the worst team in football, and that will slowly start to show. And then I'm going to do two totals here, and you guys aren't going to like the one because you guys had points in it, but I'm going under 49.5 in Cleveland, Atlanta. A game that Cleveland's involved in where we know they love to run the ball and play defense. Seeing 7 touchdowns in that game just feels like a little bit much to me. I like that too much. And then when they go one, and they're taking over here, and one that scares the shit out of me because I actually think this total should be higher. But Chaz, I'm going to your Ravens game, and I'm taking over 51.5 in that one.
Let's go.
Yeah, that was one of them, Gank. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm happy this one fell to me because I feel good about it. I like the Steelers -3.5. I really, really think that they bounce back at home this week. And I'm going to take another home favorite. Give me the Packers -10. Rodgers at home. This just feels like a 2-touchdown win. Vintage Rodgers, third, fourth quarter, scores a few tutties to put it away. And I'm going to take another over. Give me over Raiders Broncos 45.5. I just see I see the Raiders putting up at least 24-27, and if the Broncos offense can figure something out against a bad defense, we'll see.
I like that over too. That was
Whoa.
That was almost my third and final one. I was torn between those two overs, but I had to, like I said, I had to go to the Baltimore one. As much as it scares the shit out of me, I just don't see how that game doesn't hit 55 points almost.
Yeah.
Gank, I was taking whatever one you didn't. I literally had it right there. Whichever one you didn't.
I mean, I had the game 28-27, but realistically, I feel like the winning team in Baltimore is going to
30.
30. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, let's stay hot. We need you two guys to stay hot here. I need to get my record right, and then we can fix the overall record, get that better. But hey, we are 15-12 through 3 weeks is better than an average start to us. So we keep our momentum riding where we get better as the season goes along. We can shatter some records this year. And Adam, we still gotta go back and count your record from like
I'm gonna have to do that. I don't remember when that stretch was though. I don't know if it was towards the end or like if it was like 12-14.
Well, 18-week season, I wanted to say it started right around like week 15 or 16.
Yeah, it was late. It was late.
Yeah. I don't remember. So if that's the case, I mean, I'm like 18 or like 17-5 or some shit like that.
You might have had that like 9-0 stretch, but even if you add another week or two on top of it, like it might have been like 12-3 or something too.
Yeah. All right.
We'll
Stay hot, boys.
We'll look that up and
Yeah.
Report
All right.
back. Yeah.
we'll report back next week.